Thank you. Good morning. We will now call the June 13th, 2022 Public Employees Meeting in the session. Madam Clerk, please call roll.
Alderwoman Tyus.
Present.
Alderwoman Davis.
Present.
Alderman Cone.
Present.
Alderman Coder.
Here.
Alderwoman Spencer.
Here.
Alderman Oldenburg.
Present.
Alderman Stevens. Chairman Bosley.
Present.
7 present, you have quorum.
All right, thank you. One thing I do want to say right before we start this meeting today, we do want to plan on getting this as much as the work done as we can. I think a lot of things have been done, especially on the back end on working on getting a lot of these board bills together and present. I believe there were some hiccups that I saw this morning. Maybe some of the committee members have seen them also. The intent is to do what we can to get these out of committee today. So for those individuals who are from different departments who may have information that you may need to work on getting to the rest of the committee or making know that needs to be corrected, I do want to give time for those things to get worked out today. Not I want to have this be a very long, drawn out meeting. Of course, unless it needs to be, we want to make sure we hash out as many details as necessary. But I want to make sure that the timeline that's needed for these board bills to get out there got out in the timeline. Of course, you all know we have a special session coming up tomorrow. So I don't want this meeting to be in vain and us have to try to have another one unless it's absolutely necessary. But once again, the goal today is we want to make sure that we get as many requests for fixes to be fixed, here in committee today, so we don't have to come back in committee at another time sometime this week. We made, once again, a special meeting today so we could have all these board bills on the agenda for tomorrow, because there is a special timeline that needs to be met for these employees to get these paychecks in a timely fashion and get these bonuses. So, with that being said, I appreciate everybody. If anybody wants to start off with a prayer, that's fine. Anybody taking that? Well, I'll take it. All right. Thank you, y'all, for letting us wake up this morning and be alive and get help. Thank you for everything you've ever done for us and all the great things you plan on doing for us in the future. We ask you to continue to watch, guide, shield, protect us, remove all those who oppose the rule, and give us great guidance today in helping our employees and the citizens here in the city of St. Louis gain what it is that they need most in life. One of the things that they need most is a good paying wage, and giving these great department heads the ability to be able to help give these employees that work for them the raise that they need and the funding that they need to continue to survive and work well for our city. Those things we pray. Amen.
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 All right, guess we are going to approval of minutes.
Mr. President, members of the committee, I'd move that we approve the minutes of Thursday, March 10th, 2020.
Second. Roll call.
Alderwoman Tyus.
Aye.
Alderwoman Davis.
Aye.
Alderman Cone. Alderman Coder.
Aye.
Alderwoman Spencer.
Aye.
Alderman Oldenburg.
Aye.
Alderman Stevens. Chairman Bosley.
Aye.
6 aye votes.
All right, thank you. I've approved the minutes of what day was that? I'm sorry.
Thursday, March 10th.
Thursday, March 10th. Thank you. All right. The first bill we will take up is board bill number 39, which is a board bill for the collector revenue. Madam Clerk, could you give us a summary read? I could read the summary, please.
Sure. Board Bill 39, sponsored by Alderman Brandon Bosley, an ordinance relating to the appointment of and salaries of certain employees in the Collector of Revenues Office pursuant to Section 82.610 Revised Statutes of Missouri by repealing Ordinance Number 71112 allocating certain other employees to a grade with break, and including an emergency clause. The provisions of this section contained in this ordinance shall be effective with the start of the first pay period following approval by the mayor.
Thank you. At this time, I'll ask my amazing vice chair to take the seat. Alderwoman, vice chairwoman Tyus, you can take a chair seat.
Okay, Mr. Chairman and members of the committee, Mr. Chairman, you are recognized to present Board Bill 39 before the committee. But before you do that, I'd like to just specifically recognize my predecessor here, who's from the Sheriff's Office. I've been here, I don't even like to say that, 30 years, but he was there before me. We got a unique opportunity because of racial gerrymandering. We have 3 20th Ward Alder people on here. Alderman Roberts was my predecessor. Here I am, and Alderwoman Kara Spencer now has the South Side 20th Ward, which we still know which the real 20th Ward is. So I just wanted to recognize him. And then Mr. Chairman, I'd recognize you to present Board Bill 39 before us, please.
All right, thank you. And I definitely appreciate you being on, Mr. Roberts. We appreciate everybody today. Today is I think it's a very pivotal moment for the city. Our employees get a bonus, man. It's pretty cool that we can work all this out. You know, they've been through coronavirus and a gang of other things. It should be, pretty good for them. So this board bill is like many of the other ones that will come before you today. One of the changes in it is we are allowing a 3% raise throughout the city as a whole for these different departments, and the collective revenue is one of them. And with that 3% raise, they get a $2,000, the city employees get a $2,000 bonus, or $1,000 here from what I've read here in the collective revenues bill for employees that have been employed full time since 2020. So for those who don't know what a pay bill is, it's just a simple bill that allows these different county offices and offices that work within the city of St. Louis to be able to pay their employees. And there is a different sliding scale in which they pay them, which we all have the information on how that is structured through these different board bills and ordinances, and the different descriptions of these employees. And once again, the sliding scales of how these employees are paid. So all of those things are outlined in these different board bills and ordinances. There are multiple pay bills, and this is once again one of the ones for the day for the collective revenue. We do have a few speakers there, and whenever you'd like to take those up, I'd be ready for them to answer some questions.
Okay, before we bring the speakers, is there anyone on the committee that has a question of the sponsor at this time? Anyone on the committee has a question of the sponsor? Hearing none, who's here from the license collector? Is anyone here from the license collector?
Alderwoman Tyus, this is Greg Daly from the Collector of Revenue's office.
I never heard of you before. I'm sorry, I said license collector, collective revenue. I never heard it. Greg Daly, that name sounds really familiar. Like, did you used to work at the Board of Aldermen?
Years ago, those were the good old days, boy.
I think you worked with both Alderman Roberts and myself, didn't you?
I think you're right on time with that.
Okay, so I'm so sorry. I said the license collector, collective revenue.
No, I'm sorry. Well, I said the license collector the whole time. I think I said the collective revenue. Was that?
Okay, so we're gonna do the license. We're gonna do the collective revenue. And I'm looking for you. I need to see your face so you can be sworn in and testify. Let's see here. I don't see. Does anybody see Greg? I see Ben.
Yep.
His vision.
They're all there.
Oh, there you, okay, you're in with the group. I just saw Kathy Gamache and I didn't see you two men after that. Okay, hey Kathy, how are you? Okay. So in order to testify, I need you to raise your right hand and do you affirm, or would you rather swear? Which one?
Swear.
Swear. Okay, I, whatever your name is, do solemnly.
Greg Daly.
Do solemnly swear that the testimony I'm about to give is the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth.
I do.
I swear, yes. Thank you.
Okay, because there's usually we read a thing about how we do testimony. I don't think there's anybody from your office here to oppose the raises. And I didn't see a speakers list where there was anybody that would oppose your pay bill. So usually we would go and let the people who want to testify for it testify, then anybody who wants to testify against it. But we're not going to do that, since I'm sure anybody who testifies against your pay bill will be looking for a job the next week. But anyway, who's going to go first? Is that you, Mr. Daly?
Good morning, Madam Chairman and members of the committee. My name is Greg Daly. I'm the Collector of Revenue for the City of St. Louis. With me this morning are Tom Vollmer, the Chief Deputy for the City of for the Collector of Revenue, and Kathy Gamache, our Human Resource Director for the Collector of Revenue. Thank you very much for the opportunity to discuss Board Bill 39. And at this time, I'll let Kathy Gamache kind of handle any questions or any inquiries that the committee may have. I think Alderman Bosley had said, and maybe I misunderstood it, I thought he said 1,000, and it's my understanding that it is $2,000 that the administration is giving to the employees of the City of St. Louis.
And this board bill is to make sure that your staff gets to enjoy that $2,000 also. Is that correct?
Yes, ma'am.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. And what about the, I can ask the question. So we're also getting a 3% across the board. Is that going to also happen in your office?
Yes, it is.
All righty, great. So I won't have to get attacked. I sponsored the police bill a few years ago, and they got a 6%. And then everybody else who didn't get a 6% was not a happy camper with me. So I want to make sure everybody's getting the same. Is there anything you have to present, Kathy, or do you just want to answer questions?
I believe that you have everything that you need. We do have included the 3% across the board, along with the $2,000 one-time lump sum. And I'd be happy to entertain any questions that you may have.
Okay.
I do real quick. I know I'm the sponsor of the bill. I do have to.
You have not been recognized, Mr.
Oh,
Chairman,
so
but
sorry.
I'll do now.
My apologies, Vice Chairwoman.
That's all right.
My apologies, Chairwoman.
The chair is recognized.
So in the bill, right on page 9 of 15, if anybody sees that, it's line 13. What it says is, so going back to it, give me 1 second, I'm sorry. It says all full-time employees employed on March 29, 2020, whose salary is established in section 2A or 2B, general management and trades pay schedule shall receive a one-time lump sum payment of $1,000 effective with the pay period beginning March 29, 2020.
Mr. Chairman, I'm not sure that you maybe don't have the right bill or something. That's not what we have on what we have submitted. On page 9, lines 11, 12, and 13 reads effective July 1, 2022, all full-time employees will receive a 3% across the board increase in pay. Additionally, all full-time employees will receive a one-time $2,000 lump sum, also effective July 1, 2022. All full-time employees who meet the eligibility requirements for FMLA approval will be entitled to 6 weeks of paid family medical leave. Upon passage of this ordinance, an emergency clause will be in effect.
Okay. Well, it looks like I may have the wrong one in front of me then. This is Definitely from the collector. That's what, long as we got it right and the committee sees that, I just wanted to make sure that everybody, was getting the 2,000. What I was reading says 1. So long as that's in front of her, I just wanted to make sure we got it right. That's it.
What board bill are you looking at,
Thinking.
Alderman, Mr. Chairman?
Let's see. This board bill number 39.
Okay, and is that the board bill that you have before you, Ms. Gamache?
Yes, it is.
Okay, and did you do a committee substitute by any chance?
No, ma'am.
Okay, so let's just make sure we have everything right. Otherwise, we'll have to amend it on the floor. So Alderman, I'm sorry, Mr. Chairman, where were you concerned about? What lines?
So let me see. I'm going down to
What page?
page 9
Okay,
and line. Actually, I'm sorry.
I'm looking at line 11. It says 3% and 2,000, 11 and 12, effective July 1st, 2022.
And I see that piece too. If you keep, I think I have 2 different emails in here. I got 30 pages and it's only 15. I think we went in and did some changes.
You might have the ordinance that it is repealing. So they have to repeal an ordinance in order to put the new ordinance. So you may be looking at the ordinance that is repealing, maybe.
I think that's what I'm looking at. I'm a little bit further down.
Okay.
And I'm looking at the repeal when they all both in the same email.
We attach them that way. Whenever you are repealing an ordinance, our rules require that you attach that ordinance to the ordinance, the new ordinance.
Right. Well, I just didn't notice that it was 2 different ones.
Okay.
They pull up on you. My phone's a little. Yeah, they tell you so many pages in one way and another one. So I just wanted to make sure it's right. Either way.
I'm honored because usually you young people know all about everything electronic. So anything that I got to step up on you, I'm honored. Okay.
Well, take that tap. You can tap on that.
Okay. All right. So we're all on the same page.
All right, we are.
Okay.
Yes, ma'am.
Is there anyone else that has a question of the office of the? I keep wanting to say collective revenue. It's collective revenue. I want to get it right. Collective revenue, not license collectors. Anyone has a question that's on the committee for the collective revenue or any member of his staff?
May I ask a question, Madam
Sure.
Vice Chair? The language that we utilized was what was given to us by the mayor's office effective July 1, 2022. But I think the language that is in the city civil service pay bill is a little bit different, where it would in fact be on the very first check of July. And we just want to make sure that we're in lockstep with civil service so that our staff receives the same benefits at the same time.
So you're saying that, so your language, which we just read, says
Effective July 1st, 2022.
and what do you want it to say?
Well, it's my understanding that there's just a tad bit of confusion. I believe that what the civil service bill has, and I apologize, I didn't bring it with me.
I haven't, I think, are we presenting this bill today also? Is it the bill for the entire city? Is that the bill you're talking
Yes.
about?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. Okay, we have that language. You want it to mirror the language that's in that bill?
Yes, we want it to be effective at the same time as civil services.
Okay, let's see here what we have here. Okay. Sheriff's Office, Recorder of Deeds. Okay. Board of Elections, Circuit Attorney. Let's see which bill it is. Okay, it's Board Bill 48. Let's look at that and see if we can find the language that you want put into your bill. Okay? Take us just a minute. It's better to get it done now. Mr. Chair, do you mind if we look up the language so we can try to
Absolutely.
do amendment?
Yes, ma'am.
Thank you.
Could we just amend it and just say effective upon signage of the mayor?
Well, we won't,
Therefore,
that won't make it, that won't be, no. We have, if she wants it to be something the same, we have to put that in there. And we could amend it on the floor, but it's just better to amend it in the committee. I'm scrolling, this is 115 pages, so you have to get to almost the end. I'm almost there now. Deferred compensation, retirement, severability. Jury and witness. Vacation. Okay, it wasn't at the end, so now I'm scrolling back. It's someplace in the middle, of course. Okay, here's holidays.
Madam Vice Chair, I think it possibly may be page 63. I just saw it earlier this morning.
Okay, let me look there. I'm at 66 right now. Payroll forms is 65. So are you referring to where it says pay schedule in section 2A or 2B in ordinance number 71099 shall continue in effect until the start of the bi-weekly pay period of effective date of this ordinance? Or is it something else, someplace else in there? Let me just, because it doesn't say that's it, income sources. The reason why we want to change it now, because if you change it on the floor, then you have to wait a certain amount of days to pass it. Let's see here. Ms. Gamache, did it have a certain date in the language that you're speaking to?
I believe that it did. What our goal here is that whenever it becomes effective for the civil service employees in whatever pay period it takes effect, we would like to make sure that it is simultaneous with our office.
I understand your goal. I'm just trying to find the language. This is when I miss good old paper, because I'm scrolling. So in here it says the provisions of this section contained in this ordinance shall be effective June 19th, 2022. And that's on page 1. If you look at the first paragraph, is that the date you're talking about? Oh, you don't have it before you. So it says Board Bill 48.
Yes, that would be the beginning of the pay period, which would then put it on everyone's check. The first pay in July, which I believe is around July the 7th.
So the language that you want is that the provision of this section, provision of this bill contained in this ordinance shall be effective June 19th, 2022. Is that what you're saying?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, and then we would have to.
Point of order, Madam Vice Chair.
Yes.
Yeah, so just to maybe clarify this, on page, I guess it's of the big pay bill. So in Board Bill 48,
Right.
it's page 58 of the board bill, line 5.
Okay.
References the one-time lump sum payment of $2,000 effective with the pay period beginning July 3rd, 2022 is what the big pay bill says.
Okay, but at the beginning, if you look, that's
I
what
know
was-
at the beginning
right.
it says it's an effective date of the bill, but I think the $2,000
Yep.
is effective beginning with that pay period.
And what page is that?
Page, if you're looking on the PDF, it's page 59 of the PDF.
59 line what?
Line 5.
Okay, thank
5
you. I
and 6.
appreciate it.
It's page 58 of the bill, but 59 if you're looking at the PDF.
Okay, I'll look at both till I get them. 50, here's 57. Okay. 58 of the bill. And you're talking about Board Bill 48?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, so I'm looking at page 58. I'm on the PDF and you said,
Page 59 of the PDF.
okay, so I'm looking at page 59.
Yeah, lines.
Anniversary
5 and 6.
date, right? So it starts out as using this ordinance anniversary date?
No, it starts out all full-time bi-weekly paid employees. I'm looking at Board Bill 48 combined 2.pdf from our Google Drive.
Let me see if maybe there's a different one than I'm looking at here. Okay, so I'm at Board Bill 48 combined 2 PDF,
Yeah.
right? And then you said 59.
Yes, page 59 of the PDF. It's page 58 of 115 for the board bill.
Okay, let me go back here again. Of course, we have the largest board bill of all that we're dealing with this. Okay, 55, 56, 50, 57. So page 58 of
115, and it's, I
okay,
guess, paragraph, it's lines 5 and 6. You'll see the reference to the lump sum payment.
yes, I see it. It starts with all full-time biweekly paid employees employed on July
Yes.
3rd, whose salary is established, blah, blah, blah. Okay, shall receive a one-time lump sum payment of $2,000 effective with the pay period beginning July 3rd, 2022.
Madam Chairman,
I was just pointing that out. If we're trying to mirror the language from the pay bill, that appears to be it, from the big pay bill.
Okay, yeah, Ms. Gamache, is that what you're looking for?
if I may, I'd like to point something out. The paragraph 1 of the Board Bill 48, it says that the provisions of the sections contained in this ordinance shall be effective June 19, 2022, which is the beginning of a pay period. So anyone, if that were to take effect, then that would be on the first check as of July the 8th. However, on page 58, where it reads about the one-time lump sum payment effective with pay period beginning July 3rd, that's the beginning of a new pay period. And then that would not appear on anyone's check until July 22nd. I'm not sure if that was an intentional read or if, the date got mixed up. So the way I'm reading it, the 3% increase would be on your July the 8th check, and your $2,000 lump sum would be on the July 22nd check.
So you want the original? I see the Alderwoman from the 19th is shaking her head and her hands up. So she's the Ways and Means Chair. Also, if you got something that you could help us with, I appreciate it, Alderwoman.
Thank you. What was just stated is what was discussed. So you can't make it. It was never designed to be all of it on one paycheck.
Okay.
So how it was stated with the two different dates, one for the actual payroll and the other one for the bonus.
Okay.
So that's how it should be listed.
So do you need two corrections, Ms. Gamache, or just the one?
Well, it kind of sounds like, based on what Alderman Davis said, that we need two.
Okay, so this is what I'm going to ask, because we're going to be here for a while. Is there, Mr. Chairman, do you mind if maybe we put this to the bottom of our agenda so that they could get together an amendment or what needs to be changed?
I do, and I just want to be clear in exactly where the hiccup is in their board bill.
Okay, they don't have a correct time frame, so they need to change. The first part they need to add is that the provisions of this ordinance in this bill, the provisions of this bill shall be effective June 19th, 2022, so that their people get the raise starting from the first time.
Gotcha. Okay.
And then they also have to do the lump sum. Is that something you can add and change, Ms. Gamache, or do you need help from our clerk or our attorney?
Yes, I believe that I can fix that.
Okay, and Alderman Coder, I still see your hand is up. Did you still have other things to add?
No, ma'am. Sorry about that.
Okay, thank you. So I would just prefer, because I don't have paper. Usually I do have paper, but this one is so big. If you could kind of amend your bill, come with an amendment saying where you want it changed in your board bill, and we will be here for a while. Is that going to be a problem?
No, ma'am, I don't believe so.
Okay,
I'm not 100% certain of this, but I think you're going to find that almost all the county offices are going to mirror what ours reads.
Okay, then we might have to do something like take a recess and look at all the bills. Mr. Chairman, I'm yielding to you, but I think if that's going to be the problem, we're going to have to recess and correct them.
We will see. It may. I say let's go to we'll hold this one.
They all are the same.
They all are the same.
Yes, sir.
All right. Well then, I guess let's get the language and what we need to do to add them in and just fix them all and come back
Okay, so you,
in an hour or so.
Madam Clerk. Madam Clerk, this is gonna be something probably I'm gonna ask you and the clerk to do. Is this something you could do while we go into recess, amend the bills?
So just give me the correct dates so I can, was it?
I was gonna call you and get on the phone. So the first thing that we need to amend is that, and each bill is to add that is to add, if you look at the beginning of Board Bill 48 in your even introduction, it talks about the provisions of the section contained in this bill shall be effective June 19th, 2022. That part is for the pay raise itself. So the pay raise itself is going to use a June 19th, 2022 date. And then us, for the bonus, we're going to use a different date. And before we go on, I see Alderman Shane Cohen's hand. You recognize, Alderman, if you can help us with this.
I don't know if I can add additional assistance. I was just maybe going to make a recommendation. I really hate that we would make amendments during a recess when it seems like we need to have a little bit more discussion around the dates and making sure that we're being consistent. Do we need to have these passed out in order to have them before our meeting tomorrow? Is that our concern?
Yes.
So
we would still, we just want to, instead of doing each one individually, what I'm trying to do is we could have, if it's going to be the same amendment, then we can have it prepared. We don't have to do it to each. But then we, because otherwise we got to stop for each one. That's going to take up a lot more time. And if it's the same amendment, we do it, then we bring it back and we don't waste people's time. And remember, when we amend on the floor, then we have to give 3 days. And so we're trying to get this all done for them to get their raise.
So is it correct? And I think it's Board Bill 48, which is the pay bill.
Yes, that's the correct language.
It's incorrect for all of the county offices.
Well, we don't know for sure, but we're kind of suspecting that.
So is it possible for us to continue forward with Board Bill 48 then without taking a recess, and then have the clerk or someone else in the office make the amendments to the other bills while we still move forward with our order of business?
That is up to the chair. I'm just the vice chair. I was just going to stop and do everything so we can make sure that also that bill is right. But that's not my call. Okay.
Sure, I'll defer to you. I just,
I understand what you're saying, so we can keep moving. But I didn't know if they needed us to work with them or whatever. So I wanted to be available if there's a question or anything. But it's not my call. Okay.
Understood.
Thank you. Alderwoman from the 19th, you're recognized.
Thank you, Madam Chair. One of the things that I have been going back and forth as I was reading these, Board Bill 48 appears to be the appropriate language. And if we can just take that and make sure it applies to all the bills we have before us today. But we already passed, I want to say 3 or 4 of these earlier in the year, and we got to make sure that those are correct as well.
Well, I think that's why we're coming back, because some of them may have their pay bill but not have the bonus, I thought is what I read.
Right.
That's correct.
Yeah.
But as you can understand, it 48 is correct.
It is correct. 48 is correct.
Okay. Well, let me finish with telling the Madam Clerk what the other one, because we have the first part of what we need in it. Then we need the second part, and then we'll let the chair decide what he wants to do. Okay. Because, right. So we're going to page 59 to get the other language. I'm glad we caught this now.
Likewise. We had a question, Chairwoman,
Yes.
from
Mr.
the Board of
Chairman.
Elections, Dan.
Yes,
Good morning. So my bill mirrors the bill that the Collector of Revenue was talking about. I have a question about that language in section 50 on that page 58, where it talks about the one-time bonus. So in the pay bill we submitted, it says 3% across the board, included in that as well. The language I see in that page 58, I think it pertains only to the bonus, but not when the 3% goes into effect.
and the 3%, that's what the language in the first, that's what I just gave her, that language of June, whatever, at the beginning. And that's why right,
June 19th.
right.
Okay.
That's why I wanted to just have a recess and get all the dates together instead of us. And then we
Okay.
will present it back to you. We weren't going to change them without presenting it back to you. We would just
Okay.
have a mass amendment, okay?
Oh, I got it. Okay. Thank you very much.
All right. So the other date, page 58. Okay, so if you look at page, Madam Clerk,
Yes.
if you look at page 58 of the board bill, the third paragraph, it says all full-time biweekly paid employees employed on July 3rd, 2022, whose salary is established will lump sum of $2,000 effective with the pay period beginning July 3rd, 2022. So that language is in that paragraph. That date is the 2,000 lump sum is with the pay period beginning July 3rd, 2022.
And that was Board Bill 58, I'm sorry, Board Bill 48,
48, correct,
page 58.
right. And then I was gonna get off, we were going to recess and then work with you and the clerk to get a amendment that will go across the board.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, Mr. Chairman, is that all right with you?
I'm thinking that'll probably be most efficient, but I do want to, for the sake of time, I know people have a lot of other pressing things going on. This is extremely important also, but for the members of the board who are here, I want to make sure we do have a quorum when we come back, when people are very busy.
When, long as nobody objects to previous roll, we got a quorum.
Okay. Cool. Well, yeah, I'd definitely be amenable to taking a short recess so we can knock this out.
Okay, so an hour, 45 minutes, half hour, what kind of recess do you want to take?
Let's do 45 minutes. We can
Okay,
pop back on and maybe start with Board Bill 48. And if there are little tweaks that need to be worked out on the other ones, they can be getting worked out. We have the big boy done. Hello,
myself.
everybody.
Okay, we are going to take, so I'll turn it back over to you, Mr. Chairman.
All right, thank you. Okay, cool. Thank you. So once again, I appreciate everybody being here. I know we took an hour off for a recess for us to fix a few of the board bills and make them kind of change some of the language so we can get them to be in alignment with the umbrella board bill that we're doing here with the mayor's office. So with that being said, we still have to make a few more corrections. I'd like to ask that we take one more recess. Once again, I appreciate everybody's time. I know it is extremely valuable. And we can take one more recess here to 12 o'clock. It's 12:04. We can say 12:10 right now. Grab some lunch, do some other things. But as far as how we'll do this when we come back in, we'll start off with the board bill that is coming from the mayor's office, which will be Board Bill 48. We'll try to knock that out. Therefore, if any other revisions need to be made on those other board bills, we can be getting those worked out. Those will be all done, and we'll come back in and knock out the other board bills for folks who want to speak. I know we've also had speakers here today, folks who wanted to be opposed to one or two of them. We'll try to get those speakers in and out quickly also, so folks aren't spending their whole day, waiting to speak. But I do believe that these are board bills that are pretty much under the same umbrella. What I'd like to try to do is make a sort of a reference to each of them, as we talk about the board bills in similarity. Therefore, when we get to each board bill, we won't have to explain each and every one as passionately as we did as the other one. So, once again, I know these are things that we want the public to get information on, but I do think that after hearing one or two of them, the public can get the gist of what it is we're attempting to do. I'm just trying to make sure our employees get, what it is that they've been working for. So, with that being said, let's re-adjourn at 12 o'clock. I appreciate everybody. We will try to knock this out. I'm not trying to hold everybody up all day. Let me see who will not be able to attend. Apologies. I will not be able to attend at noon. I will email a copy of the testimony to Terry Kennedy to share. This is acceptable. Yes, it is acceptable, Mr. Richard. I do apologize once again for the changes that are being made today. Your time is very important, and the time that you've taken to speak with us is important. All right, we'll re-adjourn to 12:10. All right, thank you. I'll start off with, once again, I know Alderwoman Tyus is taking just a little bit of time right now. I'll be asking Alderwoman Davis, Chairwoman, I'm sorry, Vicewoman Tyus, are you unavailable right now? Okay, so I just wanted to make sure being respectful of time, and just wanted to make sure. So with Alderwoman Tyus not being available right now, I'd ask Alderwoman Davis to be the chairman of the meeting, or chairwoman.
Okay, thank you, sir. What I'd like to do is to go ahead and start as you have proposed, that we will start with Board Bill number 48. That is the general pay bill, and then we can go from there for the various departments that need to be approved. And the presenter for that board bill, okay, we can go ahead and get started, and we can have the actually, you're the sponsor of that bill, right?
Yes, ma'am.
Do you want to have the department head go ahead and give the explanation for you, and then we can ask any questions if we have them afterwards?
Thank you. So we can just have the clerk just read the summary, and then we can go into it. Therefore, the general public knows what this general pay bill is. We just at least have our descriptions there.
It sounds like a plan. Madam Clerk, could you give us the prelim on Board Bill number 48?
Board Bill 48, introduced by Alderman Brandon Bosley. An ordinance to regulate employer and employee working relationship between the City of St. Louis and all employees under the classified service, including a compensation plan, terms and conditions of employment, benefits, leave of absence, authorization for a deferred compensation plan, repealing Ordinance Number 71099, allocating certain other employees to a grade with rate, including an emergency clause. The provision of section contained in this ordinance shall be effective June 19th, 2022.
Okay, thank you very much. So now we'll have presenter for Board Bill number 48. Please move forward, and we will hear your general description of the pay bill.
Excuse me, Alderman Davis, this is John Moulton. May I speak now?
Yes, sir.
Good afternoon.
Real quick, does he have to be sworn in?
I thought we swore everybody in earlier.
Okay.
Were you sworn in earlier, sir?
I don't believe so.
No,
Okay,
we
so
sworn
we'll
in.
do- I
The-
normally don't swear in staff because they work for us, but I will do that for you.
Well, no, you don't have to. It's so you're running the committee. I just asked. Alderwoman.
Okay.
I mean, Chairman.
Okay. All right. Mr. Moten, please go ahead and get started, sir.
Okay, Board Bill 48 was prepared by the Personnel Department. First, let me say good afternoon, everyone. And please let Alderwoman Tyus know that she's in our thoughts and well wishes for her and for her well-being. And Board Bill 48 covers raises for the members of the classified service of 3% across the board, 1.5% step increase on the employee's anniversary date with a successful or highly successful rating, includes a $2,000 lump sum payment to all employees, and includes paid family leave.
Okay. You just said something that concerned me. You said they will get the raise if they have a highly successful rating.
Successful or highly successful, I said both, either one.
Okay.
Mhm.
Because that is,
That's the summary, ma'am.
that brings me a lot of concern. That's all. I don't,
Well, our rating form only has three areas, and that's unsuccessful, successful, and highly successful. And so we just took the successful and highly successful included in there.
okay. Well, we'll move on. Did you want to introduce your staff that's with you, sir?
Yes, please. I have with me John Uninstall, who is our Director of Classification and Compensation, who worked on the bill tirelessly. And I have our Deputy Director, Brian Beckelman, with us also here. So they would be my subject matter experts in case there are any technical questions that anyone might have.
All right, thank you very much.
You're
So
welcome.
let's start with the committee to see who has any questions. And we'll start with Alderman Cone.
Thank you, Madam Chair. I am curious, Director Moten, you mentioned paid family leave. I've had conversations with the budget director and the operations director, and they indicated that the paid family leave portion was going to be done through an administrative regulation versus the board bill.
Yes, it will be the draft bill number 133. Sorry, that I just wanted to mention all of the benefits that will be coming to the employees.
Okay, so that's not
correct,
currently in Board Bill 48.
No, sir. No, sir, it's not.
Okay, all right, just getting clarification there. I appreciate it.
John Uninstall has a comment to you, Alderman Cohen.
So all we have in the board bill is a commitment to do the 6 weeks of paid family leave. The details of it are going to be through administrative regulation. So it's not to say that it isn't in there, but there's not a lot of details aside from that it will be covered.
Sure. Okay. I thank you for the clarification. That's all the questions that I had, Madam Chair.
Okay, let's go to our next alderperson would be Alderwoman. Alderman Coder.
Thank you, Madam Chair. Following up on the Alderman from the 25th question about paid family leave, I see it's in here just as 6 weeks and that there's more policies will be developed. How did we settle on 6 weeks?
That was the amount that was allocated in the budget for it, sir.
Okay. And then I guess similar question, and correct me if I'm wrong here. So this is this board bill is proposing a 3% raise this year, plus the $2,000 one-time payment. And then what is the raise going forward in future years? Is that addressed in here?
And it's not addressed in that bill, sir. In addition to the 3%, each employee will receive a 1.5% step increase also on the anniversary date.
Explain to me what that is.
In other words, if a person's anniversary date is, let's say, June the 13th, then on that anniversary date, they would receive a 1.5% increase in their pay in addition to the 3%.
Okay. But in the 3% we're doing is not, this is not something that's annual. This is just for this up, this will raise the pay right now, but then not next year, people will not get another 3% increase, right?
That has not been determined yet. The numbers, the budget numbers would have to be determined at a later date. But as of right now, I can say with certainty that the 3% and the 1.5%, the $2,000 lump sum.
Okay. And then I guess this is more of a process question. So I know we've got this pay bill, the Board Bill 48, which deals with civil service employees. And now we have all these separate pay bills attempting to mirror this, dealing with various, I guess, county departments. Can someone explain to me, I know it's we're doing it this way now, and maybe this is how we've always done it, but couldn't we incorporate these other offices into the one pay bill and avoid having 6 or 7 separate bills?
If I may, I would defer that question to Mr. Understall. Tom?
I'm not sure. The director of personnel is only responsible for civil service employees. So I'm not sure with everything else that we have in there with benefits and everything that's we negotiate with the unions. I'm not sure that that could be done. I think it's probably why it has been separate. It's something to talk about and think about further, but we can't, through the collective bargaining process, negotiate any of these other offices' benefits. It's just those civil service people with a classified service.
Okay. All right. That's fine. That's for another day. But thanks everybody for their work on this.
Thank you.
Nothing further, Madam Chair.
Okay. I don't know what I'm doing. I'm going in and out. So our next person would be Alderwoman Spencer.
Thank you, Madam Chair. I just had a question sort of along the lines of what you brought up earlier with the favorable assessments. What can you help us understand the process for employees to make sure they get that, they have that favorable or outstanding? Can you walk us through that process again?
Sure. On the anniversary date, each employee is rated by his or her supervisor.
Mm-hmm.
And in several categories. I don't remember all of them on the form, but they're like eight different categories. And at the end, then there's an overall rating that the supervisor gives the employee, and there's an opportunity for the employee to review and sign if they agree with the recommendations. And the 3 areas are highly successful, where they perform their work in a highly successful manner, in a successful manner, or as expected, in an unsuccessful manner. And what the pay bill proposes is to award raises to the persons who receive a successful or highly successful rating in their performance of the work.
Thank you. I appreciate that. Are there many employees that have an unsuccessful review and continue to maintain employment? I'm just wondering how many employees this is going to impact and how many employees are going to, this is not going to impact at the end of the day.
I don't have the actual statistics, but in reviewing the ones that I've seen that have come across my desk, I would say the overwhelming majority of our employees receive successful or highly successful ratings. I've seen very few unsuccessful ratings.
Okay, that's very helpful. I appreciate that. And lastly, along with the Alderman from the 7th question, could we pull at least the county offices together, perhaps, maybe recognizing that we've got civil service under personnel, but it would certainly make, I appreciate everyone taking a break and getting all those things worked out. But if we could maybe streamline this in a way, it would certainly, I think, make sure that we're applying things evenly across the board. Maybe perhaps it's a comment more than anything for future pay bills, but certainly it would at least streamline things potentially. That's all I have, Madam Chair, at this time.
Okay, thank you. I didn't hear a response to your last question, which was, could we not incorporate all of the county pay bills into one bill to make it a more streamlined process? Has anybody thought about that under you, Mr. Moten?
I have not been a part of any discussions on that topic, Madam Chair. Alderwoman Davis, I would think that we would provide assistance to any departments that would come to us and ask for our assistance in the preparation of a pay or bill or ordinance.
Thank you.
But actual discussions with people, have not had any such discussions.
All right, thank you. We are truly a group, a body that if we've been doing something that way 50 years, we continue to do it that way. So I think a lot of us are just trying to look at things to make it more efficient. Okay. Our next alderperson is, let me check, Alderwoman Tyus, are you feeling better? Do you have any questions right now? Okay, we'll move on. Is that you? Alderwoman Tyus? Okay, let's Alderman Gunther, are you? I saw you. Are you on this committee?
I am not, just listening. Thank you.
Thank you. And Alderwoman Clark Hubbard. Did you have any questions?
No questions, thank you.
Okay. I didn't see any other. Are there any other alderpersons online that would like to ask a question?
I don't have a question. I do have a comment real quick, something I do want to say. I do know I'm the sponsor, but.
Go right ahead, sir.
Okay. I know that a lot of our employees are concerned about the possibility of, that's what they would consider some type of a favoritism playing out in some of these things, given some of this stuff is, based on you being judged by someone who'll be considered a manager or someone who will be getting reports from someone else. Is there any official way that, and not to say the Board of Aldermen should be directly involved, we're involved in a lot, but, sometimes we do get folks who do have some concerns about things that are going on in certain departments, and they are a little bit uncomfortable about speaking about this or that. So they, don't do so, and they're not afraid of retaliation. When they do, they get retaliated on, Are there any, and I don't think this is germane to the board bill, it'd be more so based on protocol within your offices there, Mr. Moten, as far as the appeal process, if an individual feels like, maybe they weren't awarded these raises and they should have been, outside of just your office being able to look into it, is there any way, with these new provisions that we're making right now, that we also could maybe have a second party or, and this is getting into the weeds because now we're talking about employees, personal information, but, I worked for the city before. I worked for 10 years. I straight know how it feels for somebody to say you did something you didn't. I know how it feels to have people pick on you. So for those employees out there that are feeling that way and feeling like they are doing a good job every day and they maybe weren't chosen because of favoritism, is there a way that they are able to, appeal the judgment that was made on them for them maybe to not get that 3% raise, and us also to be privy to that information for us to have some sort of a larger conversation? As if that makes complete sense.
Well, two things, Alderman Bosley, if I may.
Yes, sir.
One is on the rating form. When an employee receives a rating, the next level up, the supervisor must also sign off and review that form also. And then there are employees who, for whatever reason, have a concern. They can, of course, directly appeal to my office, and we have a staff here in our employee relations group that will investigate their concerns.
Okay, and I appreciate that. So I just want to be 1,000% clear, and this is not about you in particular because you just, you just got there, right? So
Yes,
for
sir.
some time, folks weren't taking all of those concerns from what people would say seriously. I've definitely seen some things. So, with that being said, I just want to make sure that every employee really does. I mean, these people work hard. They be out here cutting grass, getting yelled at, almost getting shot over giving tickets away. I mean, they do a lot, so, sometimes they can have arguments with supervisors about the way they do their job, about this or that. Things happen, so I just want to make sure that with this, finally, we get in some structured way, finally, where the city is saying, hey, we're going to give you some type of a real structured way. We're giving bonuses away. Like that's, I don't want nobody to get shorted based on an argument that they had with a supervisor or somebody that don't like them because of, not the how good of a job they do, maybe the way they do their job, or maybe they sassy or this or that. It is, I just want to make sure that, you all are also really, really, I just want y'all to really dig deep into making sure these folks get what they deserve, man, because it's, it's a whole lot of things that have happened over the years where employees really do deserve what they deserve. And you do have some things happening in these offices where people play, favoritism. Everybody deserves a raise right now. They work through Corona. If you're still here, you've been here with this city, you shouldn't be subject almost to no scrutiny. You're stuck with it through a pandemic. So just throwing it out there.
Yes, sir. If may I respond, Alderman Bosley?
Oh, absolutely, please.
One, I can assure you, I'm on record as saying to my staff and to others that we have a very dedicated, hardworking staff of people working for the city, and I salute them every day. And I've quoted as saying, quote, I will go to my grave saying we have some of the hardest working people I've ever worked around. That I've made public, and as I said publicly. In addition to that, any complaint that comes into this office, that comes to my office, I personally read them and discuss them with my staff. So no matter what the job classification is, if the person sends me a piece of correspondence or concern, I will take it very seriously.
Thank you. I appreciate that. Just wanted to make sure we threw that out because I know it's a whole lot of employees that may watch this and feel like they've been unjustly, looked over. You got a whole lot of people that feel like they should have been promoted and were not promoted. People been here for 20 years and folks get in here 2 years and get promoted over them, and it's not based on education. So I just, it's one of those good times. Folks need what they deserve. People been working hard. So I really appreciate you all. That was it. Thank you. And that was it for me, Mr. Chairman.
Right. And to give just a little bit more clarity to it, Director Moten, I know that you are an extremely experienced personnel manager. And as you and I know, and others know that are on this call, they can always appeal to civil service if they are a civil service employee. They also have the opportunity to go outside our structure and file complaints if they feel as though they've been treated wrong, whether it's work environment or evaluations or pay. And so the federal government has the opportunity for you to file an EEOC complaint. Even if it gets into fair wages, there are certain rights that they have. And so it's unlimited in a way of speaking if someone has, that they believe that they have a legitimate concern to complain, even above us in our structure here with the city of St. Louis. So I wanted to share that with you, Alderman. So a lot of people, they go through orientation, they sign the personnel directory that they get, and they never read it. And then when something occurs, they've got to try to figure it out. So I just wanted to share that.
That's really good information to know because everybody does not know that, and everybody does not know where they have resources at. And some folks just are complacent and just trying to, just trying to stay afloat. So thank you very much for saying.
You're welcome.
Davis, I'm just going to add a quick comment. As a past chair of the Missouri Commission on Human Rights, I also took that job very seriously, and any complaints we received, I would personally read them. As you know, under state law, the chair of the commission, at least at that time when I was chair, had to read the complaints to determine whether or not a complaint would be appealed to another jurisdiction. And so I took that very seriously, and I do also now.
I thank you so much for that.
Thank you.
All right.
Thank you very much.
So Alderman Bosley on Board Bill number 48, did you want to close on that?
Yes, ma'am. I would like to. So once again, Board Bill 48 is just a simple pay bill, unsimple at the same time, because we are giving our folks a $2,000 pay bonus and a nice 3% raise. I think these things are definitely headed in the right direction for us to finally have some sort of conversation with employees in terms of what growth looks like within the city of St. Louis, continuous growth. So, with that being said, and us finally getting to a place where we can afford those things, I ask for your favorable consideration on Board Bill 48 to pass it out with a due pass recommendation.
All right, Madam Clerk, I jumped ahead of myself. Did we have any speakers?
Oh, yeah, that's right.
Just a second.
I heard somebody else talking.
That was me, Madam Chair. I was about
Okay.
to make a motion.
Okay, hold on 1 second. I just got to double check.
I know we had someone opposed to 30. It was another one.
I can't get in my Google Drive right now.
Well, I tell you what, we're gonna make a lot of people smile in the next few weeks, boy.
I'm so happy for them.
I'm sorry, we do have members of the public to speak for Board Bill 48.
Okay. Madam Clerk, go ahead and call them, please.
Mr. John Von, I'll spell the last name, Glahn.
Okay.
Mr. Von Glahn, he put a message in the chat earlier that he may not be able to attend and that he would send in a written statement.
Okay, he was for the bill, and against Board Bill 48, we have Jeff Hines.
Jeff, go ahead and speak, please.
Thank you, Madam Chair, members of the committee. My name is Jeff Hines. I live in the 13th Ward. I'm also a business representative for the Mid-America Carpenters Regional Council that represents over 1,000 city employees that do and provide various essential jobs throughout the city. I realize that the Board of Aldermen has experienced troubling times right now, and I am someone that can truly sympathize with the emotions and the grief that you all are feeling, as I have often felt over the last few months that I walk in purgatory for the sins of someone else. But the job must continue on, and here we are pressing on. I'm opposed today to Board Bill 48 because we're still in negotiations. There are several items that aren't listed in this particular board bill that we agreed upon, but I'm being promised we'll negotiate at a continued date, which my last meeting was May 19th, and I have another one scheduled for the 23rd of June. So these meetings tend to be about once a month. So there hasn't been really any sense of urgency to meet this deadline that I was well aware of because I've been doing this for 22 years. I'm not opposed to the city employees getting a raise. Actually, that's what I'm fighting for. We've been waiting for 2 years for the pay plan to come, or the pay study to be done. And we were promised that that would all be better once that happened. Well, me and the other unions have asked for that study to be implemented, and we've been told it's flawed and costs too much. So here we are, only offering what we negotiated 2 years ago at 3% with an additional 1.5%, which does not keep track with the inflation rate right now, which is the highest it's ever been at 8.6%, which is an average for an everyday household of $460 a month of an increase. Then we have the health insurance cost increase of 4.2%. Your employees' morale is the lowest it's ever been during my tenure. And this sends the wrong message. When I raised my concerns that Administrative Reg 147 wasn't being followed, we just changed the rules and amended it. This sends a bad precedence, an example to the employees that the rules don't apply to administration, but by gosh, when they violate it, they're going to be hit their pocketbook or even lose their job. So I'm asking today that you hit pause. I know it won't be popular. I want everybody to get the raise. The $2,000 bump was something I suggested. I actually asked for $2,500. I wanted to exclude directors and administrators because it needs to go to the working people that actually been forming the tax during these last 2 years during a pandemic. I will be available for any comments or questions of any of the aldermen that want to discuss this afterwards, but I'm sure it's taken up most of my time. Thank you.
Thank you. If any alderperson wants to have comments on Jeff's statements, please feel free to go ahead and open your mic. And of course, we will start, if we want to go down the list, with Alderman Cone.
Thank you, Madam Chair. I guess my question would be specifically, what are the items that you feel, aside from the amount of the increases and bonus, what are the other items that are still outstanding?
Well, one of the items that usually we like to try to protect is weekend differential, shift differential, the commuting allowance. There was an increase for certain areas. Those are critical to those employees. I wanted more incentive for correctional officers and the airfield maintenance. They've been the most stressed lately, but it seems like we're getting progress. I was shocked when this was pushed through, to be honest with you. I thought we'd have a quick meeting before the 1st and we'd continue on, but that is not. Like I said, the next meeting is the 23rd of this month.
Yeah, I think it's important to also note that, we have to have the pay bill passed along with our budget, before July 1st. So we are running up against some deadlines here, and I think it's important to acknowledge the successes where we have them, as well as trying to continue working on issues where we can. Of course, I'm happy to meet with you, outside of this meeting to discuss those concerns even further and see where we're able to make, some headway as well, as I'm sure other of my colleagues are too. But, specifically as it pertains to those, or if you have others that you would like to discuss as well, I'm happy to have those conversations as well.
Well, I'm hesitant because I know it's not appropriate to negotiate with the Board of Aldermen. It's not,
but it's
so
important for us to understand.
Stay within my realm of following the rules myself, but what I've seen so far has been quite disheartening. And like I said, setting a bad example to the members who call me and scream at me all the time. I just wanted to share the angst that I'm getting.
I just want to be clear. It's also important for the Board of Aldermen to understand what your concerns are, so that when we are having conversations,
I appreciate
when we are having conversations with, the administration or the budget director or whomever, like I said, it might not be in time for this particular cycle, but, certainly as we're having those discussions planning for future years, we can, try to advocate as well. But like I said, happy to have those discussions with you offline.
Thank you.
To try and bring those up at a later point in time. But I think it's important, as I mentioned, to acknowledge some of the successes that we have had, with this particular pay bill moving forward. It's been a long time. I've been down at the Board of Aldermen for 14 years, and it's exciting to be able to actually provide some raises, increases, to our employees, and the bonus as well. So that's all I had, Madam Chair. Thank you.
Thank you. Alderwoman Spencer.
I have no further questions right now. Thank you, Madam Chair.
Okay. Alderwoman Clark Hubbard.
No questions, thank you.
Okay, Alderman Bosley.
I'll just say a comment, Mr. Hines. I do 100% understand where you're coming from, and we do appreciate your comments. I know you work hard for different employees within the city of St. Louis, and I know those employees appreciate the work that you all do. And I'm sure and confident that in the future, as we continue to work things out, one day we'll get it right about 90 to 70, maybe 80%. But as we continue to try to figure it out, we'll have our little mistakes and hiccups here and there, but the intent is very mutual. We want to help the citizens in the city of St. Louis, and that's something that you'd like to do also. So, I do, once again, understand the discontent with the communication process. And that is something that we all could most certainly do a heck of a lot better on. And I'm not saying anything bad about the members here. I'm just saying there's always room for improvement and making sure that we all can communicate better and make sure that, we're figuring out the best way to serve residents and employees. So, with that being said, just know that you are, and I'm not, hopefully it's not a conflict of interest, but you are as a person that is respected here as a first person who is representing the employees here in the city of St. Louis. So, I just want you to know that opinion of yours is respected, and your words are most certainly taken into not only consideration but future actions. Thank you.
Okay, Director Moten, I wanted to ask of this negotiation process that has been delayed. Do you have any intent of putting anything in writing as a memorandum of understanding of where you all believe you can be in what has been asked of you, and a timeline for when it can be satisfied? That's really important in union negotiations, even if they are delayed and we can finalize them later on. In all of my experience, we were always with a document, and sometimes it has to be updated, that says this is where we are with our understanding of negotiations. So do you have anything like that that would possibly give this entity some feeling of promise and intent?
Not in that form. We have shared with Mr. Hans what our offers are and what we're proposing to bargain over. It is our intention, full intention, to bargain in good faith. I've only been in place since February 15th, and I can't speak for what happened before my arrival, but I can assure you that we have met with Mr. Hans at least twice, and we've met with all of the bargaining units, all 6 bargaining units, at least once, not more times. Some we've met as many as 3 times. The challenge we've had has been scheduling, matching the schedules of the different bargaining groups with the schedules of our staff. But we worked very hard to try to we've met with all of the bargaining groups at least once, and we've expressed in writing our intent to bargain in good faith.
Okay, thank you. So we should move on. Alderman.
Yes, ma'am. Thank you. Well, with that, I appreciate you all and everybody here. I ask for everyone's favorable consideration on Board Bill 48, and I'd ask we pass that out with a due pass recommendation.
All right, do I hear a motion?
I move that we pass Board Bill 48 out with a due pass recommendation.
Previous row.
There needs to be a second.
We need a second.
Coder.
Coder gave a second.
Previous row.
Any objection to previous row?
Just
Objection. I don't even know who's on previous roll. Could we just take the roll?
Yeah, I do know that we approved the minutes, so we do have a roll before us.
Yeah, we had 7 members that were on the previous roll.
Right.
I'll withdraw my objection.
Thank you very much, Madam Clerk. Now we have no objection.
I'm sorry, I didn't have Alderman Cone down for the minutes.
He was there.
I have him. I know he was here, but I didn't hear him say aye.
Oh.
Well, we just request roll call. We do have a quorum. Thank
We
you,
have a
Jack.
quorum. Yeah, we can do
I
it.
appreciate you, Alderwoman. I mean, Chairwoman.
I love our clerk because she keeps us on point.
Boy, look,
Go
straight
right
now.
ahead.
Alderwoman Tyus. Alderwoman Davis.
Aye.
Alderman Cone.
Aye.
Alderman Coder.
Aye.
Alderwoman Spencer.
Aye.
Alderman Oldenburg. Alderman Stevens. Chairman Bosley.
Aye.
5 aye votes.
Thank you. Based on your vote, you have approved Board Bill number 48 with a due pass recommendation. Thank you. Are we ready now with the amendments?
I know for sure we're ready for Board Bill 51.
Board Bill 51. Okay, well, let's move forward with Board Bill 51. Sponsor, please go ahead and start with Board Bill 51.
All right. Give me 1 second here.
Madam Chair, I can start reading the introduction while he's looking forward.
Go right ahead. Thank you.
Board Bill 51, introduced by Alderman Brandon Bosley, an ordinance to regulate employer and employee working relationships between the City of St. Louis and all employees under the Circuit Attorney's Office, including a compensation plan, terms and conditions of employment, benefits, leaves of absence, and authorization for a deferred compensation plan, repealing Ordinance Number 70450, allocating certain other employees to a grade with rate, including an emergency clause. The provision of this section contained in this bill shall be effective June 19th, 2022.
All right, thank you.
Go right ahead, Alderman Bosley.
Thank you. So this is once again just a simple pay bill for the Circuit Attorney's Office. As of the last bill, these bills are as of the same. We're just working hard to ensure that our employees are able to get a 3% raise and have a $2,000 bonus here across the board within the city. We've went through the last board. I don't know if we have any members of the Circuit Attorney's Office that would like to speak. I know they may or may not have had a chance to check in. They had many meetings going on today, but once again, for the members here, this is mirrors the rest of the bills that are coming down the pipeline. Everybody's just putting the pay bill together that coincides with the bill that we just passed out of committee to ensure that they can be in line with the pay increases and this bonus that the mayor's office has proposed.
So, do we have anyone from the Circuit Attorney's Office available? I didn't see anybody when I looked earlier.
They sent in an email saying they may not be able to attend. They had, yeah, of course, they have a lot going on.
All right, sir. Are there any committee members that have any questions on Board Bill number 51? Please open your mic. I won't be as formal as going down the list.
I guess my question would be, where is someone from the Circuit Attorney's Office? I mean, all these other departments are here to explain their bill and answer questions. Where is the Circuit Attorney's Office?
So I know one of the issues that they have been having, of course, that I don't know if I'm sure you're seeing, that they have a very, very heavy caseload right now and a lot of things that are going on within them trying to deal with all these different caseloads that they have. So what happened was with the other departments, and I like to keep it real. Some departments sent their bills in earlier, which is the reason I had to introduce the circuit attorneys from the floor. It came in a little bit later from the workload that they are having. They did let me know that they may not have a representative able to be there. They have a very short staff right now, unfortunately. I'm sure you've seen that they have had a lot of people not stay there over the last few years. So the folks that they do have and have had to represent and help write this bill are working on, other cases.
Well, candidly, Alderman, all the more reason why they should be here to discuss their pay bill. I frankly don't buy the fact that they don't have administrative staff. In fact, I know they have high-ranking administrative staff that could be here to discuss this. So I'm not comfortable. We can take a vote. I'll be a no if we so choose on their bill. They can't be bothered to get it in time, and then they can't be bothered to show up for a committee hearing to discuss why they think their department should get this increase. So I'm a no if we do move forward with the circuit attorney's pay bill.
Understood, and I do see where you come from, and you're saying that it's it's late. I'm not sure if you're privy with kind of how everything came in with the different board bills. Every kind of department was a little bit late this year, and not on their own recognizance, not just because they were just late. Everything was just a little bit behind this year. There were a lot of changes that were made, and of course, like you said, other people did show up. Other departments are here. And have made the efforts to come. I don't think that's something that they did not make the effort to do so, to not be here. I do just once again, with everything coming in late and everything coming to my committee, I'm watching everything come like it's what we're doing today, making all these different amendments and changes at the last minute. This isn't because we were unprepared. This did just come. It came pretty quick. It much quicker than it has in previous years with different members of not only the Civil Service Commission, but different members also, of these different organizations that are here. So I do understand where you're coming from. If it's amenable to you, I can see if I can reach out to someone in the circuit attorney's office and ask them to pop up. But I do know that in an email today I got early this morning, and I can send it to you. It wasn't only from the circuit attorney's office here. It was two officers that said they may or may not be able to show up based on the workload and this happened. And of course, we didn't know we were going to have a second meeting here for the Board of Aldermen tomorrow. This all just kind of popped up from, and maybe once again, everybody's not privy to everything. We got a call a few days ago from the mayor's office saying we needed to make sure that this got passed by the 19th, which is why all of these effective now dates are coming up, and that's trying to get this done by the 19th, because if it wasn't done by then, the pay raise wouldn't be available into the very next year. People maybe have been able to get the bonus, but they wouldn't have been able to get the pay raise. There was some speculation that by the 24th, if we got it done, then this would have been able to be legal, and things would have been able to been done in a way where it wouldn't be so pressing. So that's why things are pressing right now, when folks are all over the place. We got some information about 8:30 in the morning a few days ago from our lawyer, Sir Mr. Garvin, that if we did not do this by the 19th, then folks would not get that 3% increase. So once again, Alderman, I can reach out to them. I know other entities have, other departments have made the conscious effort to be here. And I'm not saying that they haven't, but I am a little bit privy to just some of the information in the background, just based on how, well, I'm just in the committee. Of course, if this was in your committee, you'd be knowing way more than I do about certain things. And I've watched them all try to hurry up and get things done, which is what they're doing now. Everybody's trying to hurry up and just knock it out for their employees. This is not because they were behind everything. It's just we're all behind right now. Would it be okay for me to reach out to them? Does that make you a little more comfortable to try to get them to show up right now?
Alderman, you're the chair of the committee. You can do whatever you want. I'm just saying, I think it's really, if they prioritize their employees. I mean, I know they're short-staffed. We're all short. Every department's short-staffed, and frankly, they're short-staffed for their own shortcomings, due to their own shortcomings. So, again, if they don't have the time or the inclination to show up for a public employees meetings about giving their own employees raises, I don't know why we should spend time passing their bills without them even giving us the courtesy of showing up for a meeting. If they want to attend, great. But otherwise, I think we should move on and deal with the other folks who've been waiting here patiently all day.
Okay, so what we'll do, we'll move on, and then we'll come back to them at the end of the meeting. Once again, I do think it's not necessarily that they are not caring enough or anything like that at all. This is, of course, Alderman, we throw things on folks and it's not any intent of our own. And some people have, the capacity and some folks don't, and those who do, and even those who don't and work hard to be here. We appreciate everybody. So, I'll work to make sure that to send somebody, some sort of a representative here. And so we can get over the next few minutes. All right.
Madam Chair, would you like to proceed with the next board bill?
So we're not going to vote on board bill number 51 at this moment, and we'll move on to the next bill that's available. Madam Clerk, which bill is that? Because I know now we're working with those that are ready with the
Yes.
amendments.
We can start back with 39,
Board bill number 39.
first one on the agenda. Yes, ma'am.
Okay, and that was collector of revenue.
It is.
And you can read us I think we need to put the amendment before us first. Can you read it for me, please?
Okay, give me just a second.
Take your time.
Okay. Did you just want me to read the amendments? Because it looks like it's 4 amendments to Board Bill 39.
4?
Give me just a second. I'm sorry. Amendment 1. Yes, ma'am, because it appears it was several places throughout the bill where the clerk and I had to go in to change the verbiage that Alderwoman Tice has spoke about. So,
But all that should have been on one amendment, right?
But we are changing it it was 4 different locations. So the way the clerk set it up, it's a amendment per time he had to change it, if that makes sense.
Okay, so it's 4 amendments.
4 for Board Bill 39, yes, ma'am.
Okay. All right, let's start with Amendment 1.
Okay. Amendment 1 to Board Bill 39 to amend said Board Bill, page 1, line 4 to line 1. I'm sorry, to page 1, line 5 as follows. Beginning on page 1, line 4, strike out the words, "The provision of the sections contained in this ordinance shall be effective with the start of the first pay period following approval of the mayor." And insert in lieu thereof to read in words and figures as follows. "The provisions of the section contained in this ordinance shall be effective June 19th, 2022.
Okay. Alderman, you heard your first amendment to Board
Yes,
Bill
ma'am.
number 39.
Yes, I appreciate it. I move that we adopt Amendment 1 to Board Bill 39.
Second,
Moved in second. Do I hear
previous roll.
Any objection? Hearing none, we have adopted the First Amendment to Board Bill number 39 with a do pass recommendation inside Board Bill 39. So let's go on to your second amendment.
Amendment 2 to Board Bill 39 to amend said Board Bill, page 5, line 9 to page 5, line 9 as follows. Beginning on page 5, line 8, strike out the words approval by the mayor. And insert in lieu thereof to read in words and figures as follow, June 19th, 2022.
Okay, thank you.
All right, thank you.
Alderman Bosley.
Yes, ma'am. I move that we adopt the Second Amendment.
Madam Clerk, or I'm sorry, Madam Chair, can I just make a point of order or ask a question here?
Absolutely, always.
This is pertaining to the Collector of Revenue's office. So I just want to make sure that before we pass the amendments that they're okay with the amendments as stated.
Go right ahead.
Madam Chairman, this is Greg Daly, and we are following the amendments, and this being amendment number 2. Yes, we are on board.
Thank
Great.
you.
Thank you. I'll second the motion from the chair.
Thank you.
It's been moved and second to adopt amendment number 2 to Board Bill 39.
Previous row.
Previous row, any objections? Hearing none. We have approved amendment number 2. Madam Clerk, amendment number 3.
Amendment number 3 to Board Bill 39 to amend said Board Bill, page 9, line 11 to page 9, line 11 as follows. Beginning on page 9, line 11, strike out the words July 1st, 2022, and insert in lieu thereof to read in words and figures as follows. July 19th, 2022.
Okay, thank you. Alderman Bosley.
Thank you. I move that we adopt Amendment 3.
Point of order again. Can we just check in with them to make sure that they're okay with it as written?
Sure.
May we ask, was the clarification, was that July 19th or June 19th? We misheard, I think.
It's July 19th.
No, ma'am, it was, the new date is June 19th.
Oh, I heard July. Okay.
July 1st, we're striking out July 1st.
Okay, I gotta change it for myself.
And we're inserting June 19th, 2022.
Okay. Thank you.
I see Deputy Director Volmer shaking his head. Is that an indication that you all are okay with this amendment?
Yes. Alderman, thank you. We appreciate that. We were just, there was just a misinterpretation there.
We're fine.
Are you okay for us to proceed with this amendment? Does that address your concerns?
Thank you.
Okay. Thank you for indulging me, Madam Chair.
Sure. So
it was
This is
moved and we
amendment-
seconded.
this is
I don't think
amendment
we gotta
number 3.
Yeah. I'll second
Okay.
the motion to pass amendment number 3.
Okay.
Previous row.
It's been moved and second for amendment number 3 to Board Bill 39. Previous roll has been requested. I hear no objections. It has now been passed. Madam Clerk, go on to amendment 4.
Amendment number 4 to Board Bill 39 to amend said Board Bill, page 9, line 13 to page 9, line 13 as follows. Beginning on page 9, line 13, strike out the words July 1st, 2022, and insert in lieu thereof to read in words and figures as follows. July 3rd, 2022.
Okay. Director Daly, are you all okay with that change?
Yes. Yes, Madam Chairman.
All right, thank you very much. Alderman Bosley,
Yes, ma'am. I move that we pass out Amendment 4.
I'll second that.
Thank you. I request previous row.
it's been moved and second to adopt amendment number 4 for Board Bill 39. It's been moved in second, previous roll. Hearing no objections, amendment 4 has been passed. So now, Alderman Bosley.
It's
I
closed
make
on
a motion that,
39.
oh,
I'm sorry, go ahead.
So, Alderman Bosley, this is Board Bill number 39 with,
as amended.
okay, Director Daly.
Yes, ma'am.
So we've had 4 amendments that you have agreed upon. Did you have anything else you wanted to add?
No, Madam Chairman, just on behalf of the Collector of Revenue staff, we very much appreciate the time you all have put in this morning to try to clear this up and to get us back on track.
All right, thank you, sir. Alderman Bosley.
Well, I really appreciate the committee and everybody who stuck with us. I know this has been pretty long today. We're gonna continue to work this out and knock it out. Thank you, Director Daly and Ms. Gamache and everybody that is there in the office. My apologies for those that weren't able to speak, if there are folks who have had to leave, but I appreciate if the committee would pass this board bill out, which is Board Bill 39 out with a due pass recommendation.
I make a motion that we pass out Board Bill 39 as amended with a due pass recommendation.
Second.
Previous roll.
It's been moved in second to adopt Board Bill number 39 as amended with a due pass recommendation and requesting previous roll. I hear no objections. Board Bill 39 as amended has been approved with a due pass recommendation.
Thank you.
And I thank you all for hanging in there so long to the Collector of Revenue's office.
Now, members of the Personnel Committee, thank you very much. We appreciate it all.
Yeah. Okay.
You're welcome.
So, Madam Clerk, what is our next bill?
It is Board Bill number 40, introduced by Alderwoman Shameem Clark Hubbard. An ordinance amending ordinance number 70714, amending section 1, repealing section 2 of that ordinance and enacting in lieu thereof a new section 2 pertaining to the same subject matter, amending section 3, amending the pay metrics containing an emergency clause.
Okay. Alderwoman Clark Hubbard, can you go ahead and
Okay, thank you, Madam Chairwoman and members of the committee and other members are here on the call. This again is in line with the other bills that we're doing today. This one is for the Sheriff's Department, and on the line with us, we have Deputy Sheriff Steve Roberts, who can answer any questions. I think we did have some amendments. I don't know if the amendments need to be repeated since they're the same amendments that were added to others, but I'll follow.
We will go through them for each one of the board bills.
Okay.
One of the things that I noticed that it didn't indicate that this was for the Sheriff's Department in the bill, to make it clearer for people, because most people don't know what those amendment numbers refer to.
Okay. You're talking about in the wording of the amendment?
The wording, yes.
Oh, okay. So I think they followed the line, Madam Clerk, in the wording of the amendments, it was just the same for everyone's bills, right?
Yes, it was, we were just striking out the old verbiage and inserting in lieu of the new line, which were the dates.
My question, Madam Clerk, was in the beginning, when we talked about the ordinance number, we didn't indicate by identification, this is for the Sheriff's Department.
Well, this particular, I'm sorry, Alderwoman. But this is how it came to, it was sent to our office. We didn't change anything but the amendments for the dates.
And
So,
so with that, I did, with that is a good opportunity for me to note that there was a committee sub that we had changes in there, but the committee sub didn't arrive to the clerk on time. And so we have to come back around and circle back around with that. But in the committee sub, it reads, the board bill relates to the appointment of salaries of certain employees in the sheriff's office. And then it goes on to complete the rest. Again, the hiccups that everybody was dealing with today, I was on the phone with Clerk Kennedy and Chairman Bosley early this morning, probably getting on their nerves, but we got it figured out. And we do have a committee sub, again, apologizing that it didn't make it on time, but we are going to work our way around that per the clerk's suggestion.
Okay. I'm fine with that because there's another bill, and I just caught it this morning that was second read Friday that didn't have the appropriate language in the beginning. So I'll talk about that later with the clerk. So with board bill number 40, you have given us a preliminary reading, and Alderwoman Hubbard, did you want to have those department persons that are here present to speak?
Of course, if they would like to speak, or they're of course also available for any questions from the committee members.
Okay. So your preference is for me to go to committee?
Unless Mr. Roberts, I will always yield. If he has something he wants to say first, then we definitely will yield to him.
All right.
Good. Thank you, Chairman, and thank you, our good Alderman, who I've known her entire life. Thank you for introducing the bill. Sheriff Betts, as you all know, never takes vacation. So this week he decided to take a vacation. So he was in here earlier this morning at 6 o'clock with me going over this week's agenda. So he sends his fondest regards to all of you. Joining me is Captain Tammy Hogan, who most of you have met over the years, and Greg, who's also with us for the last 5 years. Our legislation is very similar to what was passed last year, the year before. No significant changes. We're following the other county offices in terms of the 3% increase for our employees, along with the bonus. So, Madam Chair, I really have nothing more to add, but just thank all of you all for allowing us to be in front of you today to get this legislation approved, hopefully. Thank you.
All right, thank you, sir. I'll go ahead and go to the committee. Alderman Cohen.
No questions.
Okay. Alderman Kotar.
No questions.
Alderwoman Spencer. Alderman Oldenburg. Okay, I don't have any questions. Alderman Bosley?
I don't, but is anybody else in their backgrounds go in and out where it's like Facebook?
Oh yeah, I've got all kinds of technical stuff going on.
You're like,
yeah,
that is funny. Okay, so that was like kind of one of the first videos I saw like that. So that was a little funny. So I don't know if you saw it, but you know,
I did.
They should scoot right behind you a little closer. That is funny. So no, I don't have any questions. I appreciate you all in the work that you do.
Okay, and for me, I don't have any questions. I just wanted to give a shout out to Sheriff Betts and his most competent chief of staff, Steve Roberts, and to all of the sheriffs. I appreciate the fact that you all are going through the training so that you can be even more valuable to the city of St. Louis, because we need you. And I know that you have a next group of sheriffs who are going into the training so that you can do more official things on behalf of the city of St. Louis. So I thank you for that. And Alderwoman Clark Hubbard, you can close.
Thank you so much, Madam Chair. I'm asking for a favorable consideration and a due pass recommendation for Board Bill 40.
Madam Clerk, I forgot.
Pardon me.
We have to do it.
Point of
Madam
order.
Clerk?
Don't we have
Madam Clerk, I get ahead of myself sometimes. And so we have amendments for this bill.
Yes, ma'am.
Thank you.
Would you like to start with the first one?
Yes, ma'am. Amendment 1 to Board Bill 40 to amend said board bill, page 1, line 4 to page 1, line 4, insert as follows. Beginning on page 1, line 4, after the words emergency clause, insert the words, the provision of the sections contained in this ordinance shall be effective June 19th, 2022.
I make a
Okay.
motion that we pass amendment number 1 to Board Bill 40.
Second, previous roll.
Second, previous roll. Hearing no objections, we have passed amendment number 1 to Board Bill 40. Madam Clerk?
Amendment number 2. To amend- I'm sorry, I got all type of things ringing. To amend said board bill, page 3.
Someone's phone is ringing.
I'm sorry, that was mine. I'm trying to cut it off.
Okay.
I'm trying to do it off.
Sorry. I couldn't hear you, Madam Clerk, over the phone.
Okay. Sorry, I got 4 devices up right here. Amendment number 2 to Board Bill 40. To amend said board bill, page 3, line 8, to page 3, line 8 as follows. Beginning on page 3, line 8, strike out the words July 1st, 2022, and insert in lieu thereof to read in words and figures as follows. July 3rd, 2022.
Do I hear a motion?
I make a motion that we pass amendment number 2 to Board Bill number 40.
Second.
Previous roll.
It's been moved and second with previous roll. Hearing no objections. Board Bill number 40, amendment number 2 has been passed.
Thank you.
Madam Clerk?
Amendment number 3 to Board Bill 40. To amend said board bill, page 3, line 9 to page 3, line 9 as follows. Beginning on page 3, line 9, strike out the words July 1st, 2022, and insert in lieu thereof to read in words and figures as follows. June 19th, 2022.
Okay, do I hear a motion?
I move that we pass amendment number 3 to Board Bill number 40.
Second, request previous roll.
Okay, it's been moved and second to adopt amendment number 3 to Board Bill number 40 with the previous roll, and hearing no objections, that motion has passed. Madam Clerk?
Amendment number 4 to Board Bill 40. To amend said board bill, page 3, line 13 to page 3, line 13 as follows. Beginning on page 3, line 13, strike out the words July 1st, 2022, and insert in lieu thereof to read in words and figures as follows. June 19th, 2022.
Okay, do I hear a motion?
I move that we pass amendment number 4 to Board Bill number 40.
Second, request previous roll.
It's been moved and second to adopt amendment number 4 to Board Bill 40, requesting previous roll and hearing no objections. Board Bill number 40 with amendment number 4 being adopted. So we're moving forward. Madam Clerk Hubbard, you now have your 4 amendments that have been passed. Did you have anything else to say before the board bill is passed as amended?
No, ma'am.
Okay.
I make a motion that we pass Board Bill number 40 out as amended with a due pass recommendation.
Second, request previous roll.
It's been moved second, requesting previous roll to move Board Bill number 40 as amended. Hearing no objections, it has been passed with a due pass recommendation.
Thank you very much, Madam Chairman.
Thank you. Good to see you. So our next board bill, Madam Clerk, is
It's Board Bill 41, but Alderwoman Howard is not on. I'm not.
She is on.
Okay, I'm sorry.
I
All right.
didn't anticipate that I would be here this afternoon because I had an appointment this morning, but here you guys still are.
yes. Go right
Okay.
ahead, Alderwoman Howard.
And I had asked Alderwoman Tyus to carry it, but I understand that's not possible. So anyway, here I am. I would like to introduce Board Bill 41. And I have Tara Rick from the, I'm taking over your chairmanship. Madam Chair, did you want me to do this or?
I was going to ask the clerk to read the prelim on your board bill, please.
Please do.
Board Bill 41, introduced by Alderwoman Howard. An ordinance to regulate employer and employee working relationship between the city of St. Louis and all employees under the medical examiner's office, including the compensation plan, terms and conditions of employment, benefits, leaves of absence, and authorization for a deferred compensation plan, repealing Ordinance Number 71113, allocating certain other employees to a grade with rate, including an emergency clause. The provisions of the section contained in this ordinance shall be effective with the start of the first pay period following approval by the mayor.
Okay. Alderwoman Howard, could you please proceed and conduct this as you choose with speakers or whatever?
Okay, I believe Tara Rick is on from the medical examiner's office, or I did see her. I don't know if she's still on. There she is. Hi, Tara. Thanks for tuning in. It's been a long day for you.
Thank you. Is it okay to go ahead and speak, Alderwoman?
Yes, go right.
Thank you. First off, I want to thank you, Alderwoman Howard, for sponsoring this ordinance for the medical examiner's office. And just briefly, we are following other county offices as well with the 3% across the board increase for our full-time employees, as well as the one-time $2,000 lump sum bonus. The only other item that we have is just the formal addition of the Juneteenth holiday added to our holiday calendar, just as a formality. But other than that, I don't have anything else to add. I want to thank the committee for your time today. I know it's been a long day for everyone as well. Thank you very much.
All right, thank you.
Madam Chair, there are some amendments to Board Bill 41.
Right.
So I would like to present those.
Okay, I think the clerk.
The clerk can do those.
Yes.
But please note on Amendment 3, I believe there's a typo. Amendment 3 says to Board Bill 39, and I'm sure that's just a typographical error, Scrivener's error, just so we're aware and it can be changed before we enter it into the record.
Okay.
Okay.
All righty, we thank you for that. Madam Clerk.
I've noted the change and I will make sure it's we get it up on the drive correctly. Okay, Amendment Number 1 to Board Bill 41 to amend said board bill, page 1, line 5 to page 1, line 7 as follows. Beginning on page 1, line 4, strike out the words, "The provision of the sections contained in this ordinance shall be effective with the start of the first pay period approval by the mayor," and insert in lieu thereof to read in words and figures as follows. The provisions of the sections contained in this ordinance shall be effective June 19th, 2022.
Alderwoman Howard.
I would
I'm
like.
sorry. Go right ahead.
I would like the committee's favorable consideration of Amendment 1 to Board Bill 41.
Second. Previous roll.
Is Alderwoman Howard a member of the committee? I don't think she can make that
Oh,
motion.
I'll make the motion. I move that we adopt Amendment 1 to Board Bill 41.
Second.
Previous roll.
It's been moved and second to adopt Amendment Number 1 to Board Bill Number 41, requesting previous roll with no objection. It has now been approved. Madam Clerk?
Amendment number 2 to Board Bill 41. To amend said Board Bill, page 18, line 18 to page 18, line 18 as follows. Beginning on page 18, line 18, strike out the words July 1st, 2022, and insert in lieu thereof to read in words and figures as follows. June 19th, 2022.
Madam Chair and committee, Public Employees Committee members, I would like to have the favorable consideration of Amendment Number 2 to Board Bill 41.
Move that we adopt Board Bill 2 Amendment 2 to Board Bill 41.
Second.
Previous roll.
It's been moved and second to adopt Amendment Number 2 to Board Bill 41 with no objections to previous roll. It has now been approved. Madam Clerk?
Amendment number 3 to Board Bill 41.
I can't hear anybody. Am I supposed to?
I'm not sure who that was, but we heard you.
To amend said Board Bill, page 18, line 20 to page 18, line 20 as follows. Beginning on page 18, line 20, strike out the words July 1st, 2022, and insert in lieu thereof to read in words and figures as follows. July 3rd, 2022.
Madam Chair and committee members, Public Employee Committee members, I would like the favorable consideration of Amendment 3 to Board Bill 41, approved by the committee.
I make a motion that we pass Amendment 3 to Board Bill number 41.
Second. Request previous roll.
It's been moved and second to adopt Amendment Number 3 to Board Bill 41 with no objections to previous roll. So it has now been approved. And we shall move on, Madam Clerk.
That's the end of the amendments for Board Bill 41.
Thank you very much. Alderwoman Howard.
At this time, I would like to ask the Public Employees Committee to pass and recommend for, with a do pass recommendation, Board Bill 41 as amended.
Okay.
I'd like to make a motion that we pass Board Bill number 41 out as amended with a do pass recommendation.
Second. Request previous roll.
It's been moved and second and requesting a previous roll with no objections to approve Board Bill number 41 as amended with a do pass recommendation. Thank you very much, Alderwoman Howard.
Thank you, everyone.
Madam Clerk.
Board Bill 42.
Okay.
Board Bill 42, introduced by Alderman Brandon Bosley, an ordinance relating to the appointment of and salaries of certain employees in the Recorder's Office pursuant to Section 82.610 of the revised Statutes of Missouri by repealing Ordinance Number 71174, allocating certain other employees to a grade with rate and containing an emergency clause, and shall be effective with the start of the first pay period of the fiscal year.
Okay, Alderman Bosley.
Yes, ma'am. Thank you.
So you have your First Amendment here, and you're requesting the committee?
So there is a member from the Circuit Attorney's Office here to speak. I know Alderman Coulter wanted to make sure that they did have a member present. There is a member here. So I'd like to first maybe go through the committee and see if there's any questions to ensure that, those are answered, if that's okay with you, Chairwoman.
Could you introduce your guest, please, that's going to speak?
Yes, ma'am. Looks like Brother Khatib Wahid is here from the Treasurer's Office. Is there anyone else here, Brother Khatib? What?
From the Circuit Attorney's Office.
From the Circuit Attorney's Office. I'm sorry.
Okay.
He was here 10 seconds ago. Just I guess
I
give
heard
it
him
a
speak
second.
a few, yeah.
Yeah, he was here.
On here, his name says Clerk Terry Kennedy, but it's him. Do you see that?
Okay, then he needs to unmute himself and speak.
Brother Khatib, can you unmute yourself? Okay, looks like he's unmuted. And I'll put in the chat the name to be changed for the host.
Okay.
Okay. Can you hear us, Brother Khatib?
I think that's what he was saying earlier, is that he couldn't hear anyone on the call.
Oh, that's why he was speaking. I think he maybe has the top of his computer or phone muted, or maybe his speaker off or something. Give me a second.
Can someone maybe call him and walk him through the technological thing, and we can take up other board bills while we're waiting?
Yep.
Because I see the Recorder of Deeds and the Board of Elections also have folks that have been patiently waiting as well.
What I'd like to do
Let's-
is finish with Board Bill 42 and then move on. So
Okay.
it'll only take a couple of seconds. They'll get him on now that they're aware of the problem.
Okay.
Can anyone hear me?
There we
Yes, sir,
go.
we can.
Can you hear us? I don't think he can hear us.
Now, that's strange.
That means he don't have his something's not turned up.
Maybe he needs his volume turned up.
That's possible. Give me 1 second.
Hello? Hello? I thought I had, I'm not sure how to do that. I thought it was already on. Oh, computer. I can hear, I'm only hearing you because on the phone. I don't hear anybody on the computer.
So do you see
Say
where you
again?
can?
No,
He can't hear you, Marlene.
Okay,
I stopped dead middle. I thought he can't hear me.
how about now? Can you all hear me now?
We can hear you very clear.
We can
Okay.
hear him, he can't hear us.
He can't hear us.
Okay, I'm hearing you all now, but I don't know if that's Brandon because I'm on your phone or if it's the laptop.
No, if you can hear us, then we can hear you, and then we should be able to proceed at this point.
Okay.
See, can you hear us, Brother Khatib?
Yes, I can. Yes.
Can everybody hear him?
Yes.
All right, well,
So
if he can be
Alderman-
heard and we can be seen, then we can proceed.
Thank you very much. Mr. Bosley, would you introduce your speaker, please?
Yes, ma'am. This is Brother Khatib Waheed from the Circuit Attorney's Office. I know that, once again, we wanted to make sure that we had a representative from the Circuit Attorney's Office. There has been representatives from all these other departments today that have been here to speak about the bill and answer any questions that may arise from the committee, or to speak about the bill, its intent, and on the behalf of their department. So, once again, this is Brother Khatib Waheed from the Circuit Attorney's Office.
Thank you, Alderman Bosley, and thank you, Alderwoman Davis. I hope you all can hear me. I'm hearing an echo in my background. I hope it's not a distraction.
Do you, pardon me, do you still have your phone on?
Yes.
Real quick,
turn it off, will y'all be able to hear me?
If you hang up your phone, that should end the echoing.
Okay, all right.
No. So it's gonna look a little weird. So this is what's happening right now, just so everybody will know. I have him on a different line. He's speaking to y'all on a different phone, coming through, hearing you on a mic. So you'll hear a bit of an echo, but you will still be able to hear him.
Okay.
We can live with that.
That's what I thought. So as I understand it, basically our request, for the most part, is in keeping with the requests that have been made by most of the departments, which is basically a 3% across the board increase for all of our full-time employees, and the one-time $2,000 bonus for full-time employees. There's nothing, to my knowledge, that's special or different about our pay bill request. And I apologize on behalf of the office for this, because some other persons who would like to have done this were not available. So I'm kind of wanted to represent the office and sit in on this process.
So I'm going to go down the committee very quickly. Alderman Cone, did you have any questions? Alderman Cone, did you have any questions?
I do not. Thank you.
Alderman Kotar.
Thank you, Madam Chair. Mr. Waheed, thanks for joining us. And if you don't have this information, if someone could just get it to me in the next couple of days, I appreciate someone showing up from the office on this important pay bill. I'm particularly interested in your classifications, attorneys 1 through 4. What's the starting salary? How many of those, each of those 4 positions, how many of them are you funded for, and how many actual attorneys do you have on staff for those positions 1 through 4 currently? And I certainly recognize if you don't have that at your fingertips right this second, someone can just get me that information down the road.
Okay, so you said attorney classifications 1 through 4, and you wanted to know the starting pay?
Starting pay for each, and then how many of each position is funded, and how many actual attorneys you have in those roles. And I recognize we've been here a long time, so if you don't have that information readily available right this second, I'm happy to follow up in an email and get it later.
Okay, appreciate that.
Nothing further, Madam Chair.
All right, thank you. Alderwoman Spencer. Alderman Oldenburg. And Alderwoman Clark Hubbard. Did you have any questions?
I don't have any questions.
Okay, let's move on here. So Alderman Bosley, did you want to close on this?
Yes, ma'am. Once again, I appreciate everybody's patience and us giving everybody a chance to be able to show up to represent their offices Just like this bill is no different from any of the other previous bills. Everybody's just working to make sure their employees get the compensation that they need and stand in line with what it is that the mayor's office is proposing, what it is we can afford right now to try to help our people out that work for us. So with that, I ask for everybody's favorable consideration for this
Madam
board.
Clerk, you have some amendments?
That's right. We do have amendments. My apologies.
No, ma'am, not for 51.
Okay.
That's right. So I will say this, 51 got it together and they worked with the, they were one of the last folks to get it in. So, you know, just so you know, the clerk's office and, I mean, our clerk and Shareem, and they've been working very hard to get this stuff together. So just that you all know, we appreciate you to our clerks and you all knocking that out at the end so we can have some sort of a stencil, if you will.
Okay. So the chair will accept a motion, please.
All right, I move that we pass Board Bill 51 out with a due pass recommendation.
No, pardon, point of order. We still need to pass all the amendments, correct?
No amendments. Right.
We don't have
No, there's
any.
no amendments to this one.
Oh, okay, all right.
This was so
Thank you.
it came a little bit late. As I keep getting mixed up too. They came a little bit late with the clerk, Clerk Kennedy, and
That's fine. Okay.
Yeah, they worked it all out.
Mhm. Okay. So we had a motion to approve. We need a second.
Second.
Thank you.
All right.
Previous roll.
Okay, so we have Board Bill number 51 has been moved, second, asked for previous row, and hearing no objection, it has been passed with a due pass recommendation. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
And any other bills, Madam Clerk?
Yes, ma'am, we were on Board Bill 42.
Okay. You want to do the preliminary on that?
I read that one already.
Okay. Now, hold on.
That's the circuit attorney's bill, isn't it?
The circuit
Okay.
attorney.
I mean, not the circuit attorneys, but the recorder of deeds.
Yes.
Okay.
Madam
Thank you.
Chairwoman, I would like to resume back chairship. If you could take on this bill, it'd be much appreciated.
Okay.
So should I dismiss myself at this point?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir. Thank you.
All right. Thank you all so much for your patience.
All right. So Board Bill number 42, I will handle for Alderman Bosley. This is the Recorder of Deeds. Madam Clerk, do we have any amendments for it?
Yes, ma'am, we have, I think, two amendments for Board Bill 42.
Okay. So I'd like to ask this, the director and/or anyone else that you have with you. I did see Tim Person. I think I saw Ms. Frazier. So whoever is going to lead this discussion for Board Bill 42, please identify yourself now.
Here, and to the committee, I'm Tim Person. Unfortunately, we lost the other members of my party to scheduling conflicts, so I'm it.
Okay, sir. Go right ahead with anything that you'd like to share with us.
Well, you pretty much have everything that we have to offer in our legislation. It's consistent with what everyone else has to submit, more or less.
Okay.
With the amendments that Clerk Rogers has offered.
All right. Well, I thank you very much. I'll go to the clerk now. Board member number-
Chairwoman.
Yes.
I wanted to resume chairship. I wanted you to run this board bill, if you can.
I am running it for you, if you don't mind.
Oh, okay. Got you. No, got you. Okay. Oh, excuse me. Let me step all the way back. Thank you.
I'm just happy you're not driving.
That's right.
Where are we at here? Okay, so Madam Chair, we do have some amendments for this board bill that I wanted to have recognized?
Yes, ma'am. Amendment 1 to Board Bill 42 to amend said board bill, page 1, line 4 to page 1, line 5 as follows. Beginning on page 1, line 4, strike out the words "and shall be effective with the start of first pay period of the fiscal year," and insert in lieu thereof to read in words and figures as follows. The provisions of the sections contained in this ordinance shall be effective June 19th, 2022.
Mr. Chair,
Yes, ma'am.
I've just had Amendment 1 recognized. Shall you move forward with the process?
We will. So before we do that, I did wanted to make sure that, just with everything, especially with the new things that have happened with different propositions that have come out, I need to be very clear and out with everything that's going on here. So my mother does work for the Recorder of Deeds. She is the chief of staff there. I'm not potentially voting on a raise for her. I'm voting on a raise for the entire Recorder of Deeds office. I just wanted to make sure that I exposed or put that information out there. If there is to be or any said conflict of interest, I wanted anybody that were out there to know that this is something that I do plan on voting for the greater good of the entire Recorder of Deeds office, for those individuals who work for that entire office, and not for one individual person or persons who may be personally connected to me in general. So, with those things being said, I do want to move forward with the amendment.
All right,
And
thank you, sir.
Your favorable consideration. Thank you.
Okay. So you can conduct the vote, please.
All right. With that, Madam Clerk, please call roll.
Has there been a motion?
Point of order, what are we voting on?
The First Amendment, but we haven't had a motion or a second on the First Amendment.
Excuse me. So I take a motion on, what board bill is this?
42.
Board Bill 42. I take a motion on Board Bill 42 for the Recorder of Deeds office.
Well, we're on Amendment 1 of Board Bill 42.
Amendment 1 on Board Bill 42. My apologies.
Mhm.
Okay, I make a motion that we
Amendment 1 to Board Bill 42.
second. Previous roll.
Excuse if I'm supposed to request previous roll or not.
You said what, Jack? All right, thank you. All right, now with that, you sustain your motion for Amendment 1 on Board Bill 42. Now we'll take up Amendment 2 on Board Bill 42.
Amendment 2 to Board Bill 42 to amend said board bill, page 8, line 13 to page 9, line 14 as follows. Beginning on page 8, line 13 and line 14, strike out the words. The ordinance shall become effective upon the first day of the first pay period following its approval by the mayor, and insert in lieu thereof to read in words and figures as follows. The provisions of the sections contained in this ordinance shall be effective June 19th, 2022.
All right, thank you. Alderwoman Davis, you're recognized on Amendment on Amendment 2 for Board Bill 41.
Oh, I asked that the vote to sustain this moving forward, sir.
All right.
I make a motion on Amendment number 2 for Board Bill number 42.
Thank you. It's been moved by Alderman Cone. Can we get a second?
Second.
Second by Alderman Jack Coder and a request for previous roll. Amendment 2 for Board Bill 41.
42.
42, I'm sorry. All right, we'll take can we take up Amendment 3?
Two amendments, sir.
I'm sorry?
It was only the 2 amendments to 42, Board Bill 42.
It was only 2 for 42. Okay. All right, with that,
I'll make a motion that we adopt Board Bill 42 as amended with a due pass recommendation.
Thank you. Can we get a second on that?
Previous roll.
All right, move second, request for previous roll on Board Bill 42. With that, no objections, we sustain a motion for Board Bill 42 passed out as amended with the due pass recommendation. Madam Chair, do we have any, not Madam Chair, we have any more, Madam Clerk, do we have any more order of business for today?
Yes, we have Board Bill 49 and Board Bill 50 left.
Okay. So Board Bill 49, could you read the prelim on that before I get the directors before us?
Board Bill 49, introduced by Alderman Brandon Bosley, an ordinance relating to the appointment of and salaries of certain employees of the St. Louis Board of Elections Commissioner pursuant to 115.045 and 115.049 revised statutes of Missouri by repealing Ordinance Number 71479, allocating certain other employees to a grade with rate, including an emergency clause. The provision of the sections contained in this ordinance shall be effective with the start of the first pay period, following approval by the mayor.
Okay. So we currently have Board Bill number 49 before us, and this is the Board of Elections. And who will speak? I saw Gary Stoff, and I saw, oh, wait a minute.
Ben Boardman.
Yeah, Ben Brooklyn. So whoever's going to start speaking first, go right ahead.
Ben? Sure. So the changes, this bill is basically consistent, I believe, I really hope so, with the other bills that you've taken up today. I really appreciate this committee taking the matter up. I appreciate Alderman Bosley for sponsoring it. Thank you very much.
Okay. And Mr. Stoff, are you speaking?
Oh, I would just echo that. We appreciate the efforts of the committee, especially in working through the various amendments to the previous ordinances that were proposed, bills, and this one pretty well tracks what has been done with respect to the other county offices. And so we appreciate your efforts, your patience, and hope it'll receive favorable consideration.
All right. So Mr. Bosley, you're carrying this bill as well. And we'll check with our clerk. Do we have any amendments to Board Bill 49?
We do.
Go right ahead.
Looks like 2 amendments.
All right.
Amendment number 1 to Board Bill 49. To amend said board bill, page 1, line 4 to page 1, line 5 as follows. Beginning on page 1, line 4, strike out the words. The provisions of the sections contained in this ordinance shall be effective with the start of the first pay period, following approval by the mayor, and insert in lieu thereof to read in words and figures as follows. The provision of the section contained in this ordinance shall be effective June 19th, 2022.
All right.
Okay. Mr. Bosley?
Yes, ma'am. I thank you. I ask that we adopt amendment number 1.
Do I hear a motion?
I move that we adopt amendment number 1.
Second, previous row.
Hold on, I need a second.
Oh, sorry. Second.
Okay. It's been moved and second to adopt Board Bill 49, amendment number 1. And I heard previous row. No objection. Amendment number 1 has been approved. Madam Clerk, for amendment 2.
Amendment number 2 to Board Bill 49. To amend said board bill, page 3, line 10 to page 3, line 15 as follows. Beginning on page 3, line 10, strike out the words. Effective July 1st, 2022, all full-time employees will receive a 3% across the board increase in pay. Additionally, all full-time employees will receive a one-time $2,000 lump sum, also effective July 1st, 2022. All full-time employees who meet the eligibility requirements for family medical leave approval will be entitled to 6 weeks of paid family medical leave. Upon the passage of this ordinance, an emergency clause will be in effect, and insert in lieu thereof to read in words and figures as follows. Effective June 19th, 2022, all full-time employees will receive a 3% across the board increase in pay. Additionally, all full-time employees will receive a one-time $2,000 lump sum effective July 3rd, 2022. All full-time employees who meet the eligibility requirement for family medical leave approval will be entitled to 6 weeks of paid family medical leave upon the passage of this ordinance. An emergency clause will be in effect.
Okay, so for amendment number 2, Mr. Bosley.
Thank you. I move that we adopt amendment number 2.
It's been moved.
Second, request previous rule.
It's been moved and second to adopt amendment number 2 for Board Bill number 49, and hearing no objections to previous roll, it has been approved with a due pass recommendation. Alderman Bosley, you want to close with your Board Bill as amended?
Yes, ma'am. I move that we pass Board Bill 49 as amended out with a due pass recommendation.
Been moved.
Second, previous roll.
Been moved and second with a request for previous roll, and hearing no objections, we have passed Board Bill number 49 as amended with a due pass recommendation. Thank you. And
Thank you all.
Thank you very much.
all right, thank you. Let's go on to Board Bill number 50. And which department is that?
License collector.
Okay.
Board Bill 50, introduced by Alderman Brandon Bosley, an ordinance to repeal ordinance number 68706 relating to the appointment and rates of compensation of certain employees of the license collector of the city of St. Louis, and enacting in lieu thereof of new ordinance dealing with the same subject matter and containing an emergency clause.
Okay, Alderman Bosley, Board Bill 50, would you like to introduce your speakers from the License Collector Office?
Yes, ma'am. Thank you. Do we have anyone speaking that is still on from the License Collector's Office?
Yes, this is Lee Goodman from the License Collector's Office.
Hey, Brother Goodman. I just give a quick description of what we got going on. Of course, you know, we've been there, so everybody knows what's going on.
Sure. So with the License Collector's Office bill, we basically amended the prior bill to adjust the class titles and categories to consistently flow, as the last bill did not do that. So we made those changes in this bill. We also changed the holiday schedule to actually accurately reflect the holiday schedule that other county offices have throughout the state. And the bill does not have the $2,000 per employee bonus. It does not have the 3% raise in this bill. As many of you know, the license collector gets its revenue from the licenses that are paid for from many of the businesses throughout the city. And in light of the current pandemic environment, we have seen a decrease in those licenses being paid for, even though things are kind of turning around now, based upon what we've seen over the past year and a half. We are unable to discern whether or not the resources are even available to do an increase for our employees. And certainly our employees, nobody works harder than the employees here in the License Collector's Office. Having been on the front line throughout the pandemic, having been necessary employees as it relates to folk trying to get PPE money. They had to come through our office. So our people had to be here, and they have been here. And it is with much regret that we don't have the resources that we are able to identify to compensate them for their tireless efforts. But we think it would be it would be not be frugal for us to make a determination to distribute funds that we don't even know where they're coming from at this point. So I just share that with the committee as an explanation as to why that's not included in this bill. We just didn't think it would be fiscally responsible to make such an allocation based upon funds that we are unable to put our finger on at this point.
Understood. Well, thank you very much for the description.
I'd like to go down to committee and to see if they have any questions. Alderman Cone,
No questions.
Alderman Kotar,
No questions.
Alderwoman Spencer, Alderman Oldenburg, Alderwoman Clark Hubbard.
No questions.
Okay, I'm not going to ask a question because we'll be here another hour, so I'm going to leave that alone and move on. Madam Clerk, do we have any amendments for the Board Bill 50?
Well, we did. It was changing the effective date to June 19th, but considering his bill was not in regards to the bonus or the pay increase, I don't know if that'll be appropriate to change that date. I can seek the advice of the clerk.
Please seek the advice of the clerk. I'd rather have it in there because I believe that this is going to change by the time it's time to do that. Okay.
Oh, it is.
Okay, well, I can just read the amendment and we can just amend it.
I would rather amend it because I have a different understanding of where the $2,000 is coming from. And I think that those discussions should be done immediately on behalf of the employees of the city of St. Louis.
Yes, ma'am.
So let's put the amendments in there and then they're covered.
Yes, ma'am. Amendment 1 to Board Bill 50 to amend said Board Bill, page 1, line 4 to page 1, line 4, insert as follows. Beginning on page 1, line 4, after the words emergency clause, insert the words, the provisions of the sections containing this ordinance shall be effective June 19th, 2022.
Okay, Alderman Bosley, we're gonna ask for a motion for amendment number 1 for Board Bill number 50.
Thank you. I move that we pass amendment number 1. We adopt amendment number 1 for Board Bill 50.
Okay. Do we have a second?
Second. Request previous.
Okay. It's been moved and second that we adopt amendment number 1 for Board Bill 50. And previous row requested, no objection. Amendment number 1 has been passed. Madam Clerk, you have amendment number 2?
I'm sorry, no ma'am, it was just only one amendment. So.
Just one amendment? Okay. Then we're ready to, Alderman Bosley, for you to close out on Board Bill 50.
All right, I move that we pass Board Bill 50 out with a due pass recommendation.
As amended.
As amended. Thank you.
Second.
Previous row.
Okay, so we've had a motion to adopt Board Bill number 50 as amended, and we have a second. We've asked for previous row, heard no objections. Board Bill number 50 as amended has been approved with a due pass recommendation. Okay, thank you very much for the License Collector's Office, okay?
Thank you, ma'am.
Also, Alderman Bosley, did you want to take the meeting over to close it out?
Yes, ma'am.
Right, sir. Go right ahead.
Thank you very much. I appreciate everybody being here. I know today's been a very long day. We appreciate your patience. Not all the time do we get everything right, but we do to make sure that we can get things right, which is why we take our times when special moments like this come about, where we can help a lot of people at one time and change the trajectory of these departments, being able to explain to new employees what it is for a percentage increase looks like in their pay. So things like that are great when it comes down to telling people that you should work for the city of St. Louis. So thank you all for sticking it out with us, and every single department sticking it out, being able to explain what it is, the changes they were trying to make today. Thank you very much, Alderwoman Davis, Alderman Jack Kotar, Alderwoman Tyres, Alderman Combs, Shameem Clark Hubbard, Alderman Gunthar. Who else is still here? We appreciate you, Ms. Rogers. Thank you very much. Mary Goodman, Lisa McNichols. Thank you very much, Clark Kennedy. We just appreciate you all for being able to stick with us and help us get everything done. So with those things being said, I think our employees will be pretty appreciative come that first week they get their check in July. And you all on this committee will be able to be those individuals they go back and reference and say they helped me. So, thank you all very much.
Did you have any aldermen that need to be excused? Madam Clerk.
Alderman Stevens.
So I make a motion that we excuse Alderman Stevens.
Oh, you just do it. You don't need a motion.
Okay. Well, I excuse Alderman Stevens here from the meeting today. Whatever he's got going on, I'm sure he's been a champion in whatever he's doing. So keep doing what you're doing. I appreciate everybody being here. Thank you very much, Alderman. And I appreciate everybody being here. You all be safe. The meeting is adjourned until further notice.
Okay. Thank you.
All right. Peace.